What is up, everybody? Eddie Soundhead back once again with another episode of NASCAR Heat 2 Championship Mode, and today we are here at the very treacherous Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. Starting at the back as usual, no setup today. No point in qualifying when you're not using the setup because you're going to qualify 40th anyway, usually. So we decided to just forego all of that, and I have decided to issue myself a bit of a challenge for this race today. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do everything in my power to avoid having an accident. No crashing, avoid the big one if you can, even a single car spin. I want to keep the car in as good looking condition. I mean, obviously you're going to have your typical Talladega bumping, but I want to have a clean race here at Talladega. It seems like every time we come to one of the super speedways, it becomes a wreck fest, and then I have one wreck and it leads to like 3 more wrecks, and then it's just a bad day. So I want to try and minimize that and have just a clean race to the finish. No shenanigans, no BS, just a clean, straight up race. So we're a lap in here, 34th. We have quite a bit of ways to go here. It's only a 6-lap stage, so we definitely need to get a move on here and get through some of these guys here in the back. And we're battling with Cole Whitt and Chris Buescher right now, which is not the kind of competition we want to be around. As much as like Chris Buescher, Cole Whitt, I can take him or leave him. I'm still salty about Homestead. I've explained that before. No need in doing it again. And we will get by him and get underneath Chris Buescher. That draft is everything. We have this Cabaret guy who's in the duplicate number 4 car. Not gonna lie, don't know much about him. Not sure how he managed to get into the Cup Series in NASCAR Heat 2, but fair enough, he did. So good on him, I guess. Underneath Brennan Gaughan and Daniel Suarez there. Almost forgot Daniel's name. Daniel, however you want to say that. I remember seeing a little bit while back that he actually preferred being called Danny or something like that. I don't know. But I know there was a whole thing with the Cars movie, and we're not even going to talk about that. So into the top 25 nearly, if we can get past Reagan there. 3 wide on the bottom on a cut underneath Eric Jones. And we are slowly but surely making our way through this field. Almost halfway through this stage now. So hoping to have a pretty good run here. It's a little sketchy sometimes once you get up to the front. If you're not using a setup, it's extremely hard to get the lead. Now this is going off of my experience from career mode, because in career mode you tend to have a less powerful car if you take a 4-star car or something like that. So it should be interesting to see if we can actually get up and battle the leaders for the lead, or if we're stuck behind them in their draft. I'm kind of hoping that's not the case, but I guess we'll see, as I'm kind of stuck behind Ty Dillon here. I'll wait till we get closer to the turn here, and then I'll dive under him. He went up to the top anyway, so I didn't even have to worry about that. And now we've got Kyle Larson in front of us, who nearly won Bristol, got the bump and run from Kyle Busch, which I thought was a cool move, regardless of who did it. And that was that for him. Get underneath Paul Menard here. Couldn't quite do it. He came down and blocked that inside lane. Let's see what he does here. I'll get him now. Push him up in front of Kurt Busch so they can't get together. And go a little bit high in the corners there. Almost gets tight right when you jump into the corner there. Get the inside of Harvick and the Bristol winner, Kyle Busch. And Darrell Walsh Jr., man, wasn't he impressive at Bristol? How he grabbed the lead like that, then just immediately fell like a rock and got lapped. It was a weird Bristol race, man, with the weather, but I thought it was a good Bristol race. I really enjoyed it. And it was cool to see some new faces up front, like Darrell Walsh Jr., Darrell Walsh Jr. So, and a couple other guys that had really good runs was cool too. Brad up here won double the stages, and then had a tire issue, just basically wore his tires off, and kind of got, bad finish out of the whole deal. But he did gain a couple spots in the points, which I was very happy about. And we're already on the final lap here of stage 1, and flirting with a top 10 here. We are inside the top 10, inside of Newman. Drafted with Keselowski here. We might be able to get a couple spots if we play our cards right here in the final corners. Got Stenhouse out here in front of us. Boyer on his outside. Got Trevor Bayne up there on the outside too. What's he doing up here? He's gonna cause a crash if anything. It's about all Bayne's good for anymore. And we'll get by him too. And wow, we'll even sneak into the top 5. I tried to get into the inside of Casey Kane, so we'll have to settle for 5th. But not bad coming through the field like that. That was pretty good. I didn't really think we were going to make it that far. All right, starting on the inside line here. Denny Hamlin in front of us. Looks like Eric Almirola leading the race, so he must have won the stage. Chase Elliott on his outside, Casey Kane, and Trevor Bayne right outside of me currently. So we are having a decent showing so far, but this is going to be the moment of truth. Is it going to be impossible for us to take the lead? Thanks to the draft. So I'm going to give a shove to Hamlin here just to try and see if I can get to the inside of Almirola and possibly hold these guys on the outside. And I'm not quite going to get to Almirola. And man, I'm going to pay for it now because now Stenhouse is on my outside. And man, all these guys are just going to kind of freight train me on the outside now. So just like that, I'm right back where I started on the restart. Back into 6th on the inside. That's pretty funny. All right, so I guess we'll re-rack it up and try it again here. Just got to get a good run at the right time and catch these guys at the right spot, because you get a lot of speed down the straightaway from the draft, but once you get into the corners, it kind of kills your momentum, and I shoot Stenhouse up the track here to try and get underneath of him and try to get that run on Eric Almirola. Got Stenhouse here. The draft is just not doing it for me. Man, I got down on that apron and almost lost the car. And that's going to open up the inside line from Denny Hamlin. I'm going to try and jump down underneath him. Oh, I went too far, and I'm on... No, and there it goes. Wow. Oh, my God. That was such a... That crash was so extra. Wow. All right, so in an interesting turn of events, I'm now in the lead after blowing over down the backstretch. So because everybody else pits, they take 4 tires, I would assume. But tires in this game, at Talladega especially, really aren't that important. So I didn't take any tires, but I did take enough fuel to make it to the end, because this is now the final stage. So we should have enough to make it to the end. The problem is so does everybody else, so we're probably going to get freight trained here and get stuck in like 2nd place again. So we just need to see if we can hold on to the lead. If we can't, we need to try and get our timing right and then get to the lead. And Denny Hamlin's already going around me on the outside. It's not even a lap. He's going to bring Casey Kane with him. So it's going to definitely take some effort to get the win here today. Now sometimes they do have like a weird fuel thing where they start to pit right at the end of the race. I'm not sure if that's going to come into play here again. I kind of wish it wouldn't, but I guess we'll see how that goes, because that's what happened to us last time, and it basically put a victory in our lap. So we'll see how this goes. We've definitely got enough to make it to the end though on fuel. That much is for sure. I'm getting a pretty decent run right now, but I'm just in a bad spot, so I'm going to let off the gas here so I don't get left off of the draft there. Casey was just riding the yellow line and nobody was behind him, so I'm not really sure what he was trying to accomplish with that. The AI, obviously, I don't know, maybe they know something we don't. So we're still in the draft here. I wish Almirola would file back in line behind me, because the more double wide we are, like, look at Casey Kane down there. Like, that line, running that line's not helping anybody. Oh, he almost got passed because of it, too. Hamlin started to come up on him. They are definitely going to battle side by side, which is not that good for us, unfortunately. Come on, give me a little bit of draft. Anything would be nice. 5 laps to go here at Talladega, and finally we get up to 2nd, but it seems like whenever there's just one car in front of you, it's not enough draft to get enough of a run before you get down to the corner, because then you lose speed in the corner and they gain on you. So it's going to be interesting how we play this one here. We're going to have to maybe get like a nicely timed push from behind or something, because watch as just as we start to get right up on Casey, we get into the corner and then he pulls away from us a little bit. So I don't know what's really going on there or what we could do to counteract that. So I guess I'll just stay. Oh, okay, and there they go down the pits. All right, so it might wind up, like I said earlier, out, and never mind. Now the caution's out. Well, now that screws everything up. All right, well, this is going to be an interesting finish here. I'm pretty sure we just got screwed over because same thing's going to happen as the last restart than when you started in first. It's going to get us freight trained, essentially. So I'm either going to have to really do a really good job at blocking these guys, or I'm going to not win the race. It's basically all that happens. Because there's almost not even enough time to get a good run in the draft. So I'm gonna have to block Boyer as much as I can. If they stay single file like they are kind of right now, and of course as soon as I say that, Truex goes down to the bottom. So I'm gonna have to kind of ride this middle line, but the car's almost not gonna do that for me. And oh, come on. And there goes all of our progress. Well, there goes our chance of winning. So now I just gotta try and, I'm not even gonna stay in the top 10 at this rate. Come on, game. Come on, dude. Oh, and there it is. This is great, and we're gonna have another crash. That's awesome. And the race is over even. Oh my God, could that have gone any worse? Holy smokes. I'm actually disgusted at what just happened. That about figures, honestly. It really does. Well, let's at least look at the replay here and see what happened on that pit stop first. Oh, they did crash. So trying to pit, they crashed. I'm trying to get as many camera angles. Oh, man. One of the yellow cars, he was either Blaney or Menard. Somebody ate that inside wall, and Kyle Busch eats the outside wall. That was brutal. All right, so now we're looking at the replays of the crash that I had a little bit earlier in the race. On the backstretch here. Yeah, I just went down to try and get in front of Eric Almirola to prevent the inside line from freight training me, and then it just all hit the fan after that, so. Great physics right there, too, on the crash. Let's look at this again. The car just lifts up and then gets the weirdest physics crash ever. Digs in. Trying to get an angle that'll show what happens in front of me. This obviously isn't going to do it, though. And just going tumbling over the field. Nothing quite like flying over a couple lanes of traffic. Let's see, this is just like the standard camera angle. You can see that Newman crashes Larson, and then it's just a big one up there. It looks like Newman and Reagan ended up flipping over there. So that'll do it. Truex wins the race. Carl Long finishes second. What a beast. That's how you know you had to screw your race when back markers are in the top 10. And we come home 32nd. So tough day at the races for us. But we're still 102 points ahead of second place Brad Keselowski, with Logano, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson rounding out your top 5 in points. What a day. All right, that'll pretty much do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. As always, Dover is next. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you want, you can also follow me on Twitter at @Soundhead. I've started using that a little bit more lately, and we've got a bunch of our Soundhead Entertainment social medias down in the description with links to them, so you can follow those if you want to as well. So thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in the next one.